Uh, Thank you, Ladika, for inviting me. I was the editor some 50, but I am little out of editor work. So this is little very tough. I can talk on retina cases anytime, but I have to read for some time what is happening. First thing, let me tell you what is the difference between legal and ethical. Legal, there is a law, a statute which is passed by the parliament. If you violate it, you will have a civil case or criminal case or something, some case will be there. Ethical is not, it is quasi-judicial sort of thing, like a medical council or some body will be there. So if you violate ethics, they are not going to put you in jail, but they can penalize you professionally or something like that. So that is the difference between legal and ethical. In publication, it is mainly ethical. So this I noted. This last week was the Publication Integrity Week by COPE. That regarding ethics, there was a Publication Integrity Week which was observed last week. We all tell that the every publication we write, this is as per the guidelines of Declaration of Helsinki. What is Declaration of Helsinki? I think everyone will quote what Declaration of Helsinki. This is a little complicated area. It was last revised in October 2013, and medical research is subject to ethical standards that promote and ensure respects for all human subjects and protect their health and right. In India, as per the Article 21, a person can decide what has to be done with his or her body, and nobody has any right in that. So if you violate that, you will be in trouble. So ethics means it respects the human subject and protects their rights. So that is what is mentioned in Declaration of Helsinki. Okay, so physician must consider the ethical aspects and regulatory norms and standard for involving human research. So what Declaration of Helsinki means is there should be an ethics committee which we should present our study, and they will monitor the study throughout the finish until the final report is given. And there are some aspects in that, like the most important thing when you attend a ethics committee meeting is the informed consent. It is called informed consent form, informed consent document, which includes information sheet and informed consent form. Both together is the informed consent document. The whatever you are going to do should be divulged to the patient, and then it has to be registered in clinical trials registry in India, which is linked to WHO registry. So ethics committee in every hospital will have a standard one chairperson and members who are preferably from outside the hospital. They should have a basic medical scientist, clinician, legal expert, social scientist, layperson, like that. Head of the institution should not be part of the ethics committee, but will be the appellate authority to appoint the committee or dispute. So every hospital, most of the hospitals have ethics committee. There are some hospitals where they do not have a ethics committee, where they can use the service of other hospitals nearby. They can present their. So this is very important. Ethics committee can give sanction or grant waiver. Waiver is given in many of our retrospective studies because we are using only data where we are not, patients are de-identified. So most of our studies in India are retrospective studies. So we don't usually have a ethics committee clearance in many of these cases. And some cases where there is anonymized blood biological samples or humanitarian emergencies, ethics committee can waive the sanction. So they don't have. The consents are of different types: blanket, tired, specific, delayed, dynamic. So consent can change over time when your intervention varies. So blanket consent is not very advisable. Pediatric consent is one thing. Less than 8 years, you cannot give consent in as per the Indian law. You can enter into a contract only after 18. And between 12 and 18, there is a difference between assent and consent. Okay, there is you have to take consent from the child as well as the parents. So Committee on Publication Ethics is called COP, COPE. So this is a group which has given guidelines for ethical presentations, ethical publications. So these are some of the titles. I will just go through some of the accurate presentation. Data should not be manipulated. Authorship. Authorship actually, just because my wife and my alien is there in my family, I should not write their name unless they have contributed something. uh, then there is what is called conflict of interest. If there is a conflict, if suppose I am publishing one data for Roche, I have a conflict of interest. They are paying me for previous talk. They are paying me, so I have to acknowledge them. That is conflict of interest. Even in reviewing an article, you have to divulge the conflict of interest. If you have a conflict of interest, you should tell. Data integrity is another thing already I mentioned. Simultaneous submission should not be allowed. You put the same paper in 2-3 journals simultaneously, or some people submit part of it in this one, part of that in this one, 18 cases in this one, 21 cases in the other journal, like that. And there is something called the salami slicing. A little part you can. So this should not be allowed. Simultaneous submission should not be allowed. Originality, naturally, that is what is lacking in our state. Originality in research which is not published. All studies in Kerala, in free paper sessions, if you go, my study is like other studies and we need more studies for confirming. That is the last sentence most of us say in free paper. You attend free paper. My study is like other studies. We give a list, and more studies are needed for confirming. Permissions, very important. Suppose you use some data or table or image, you have to get permission from that. Error correction is also important. And this last area is becoming more and more popular. There is a artificial intelligence course going on in the church hall. If you copy and paste articles from the from other articles in your you copy and paste, it is very easy to there is a tool, you can just paste it and say what percentage is having. It is 90% AI or something like that, you will get easily. There are he was telling highlighting this, there are tools which detect AI, what percentage of the article is AI. So reporting standards accurately, again, data access retention, all these things, originality, these are all coming again and again. Plagiarism is one thing. Somebody else's article, you put as your article and publish in another journal. This has happened in Kerala. One of the articles from one major person was used, just the name changed and published in another not very good journal. And so multiple redundant concurrent publication, I already explained. Redundant publication, concurrent publication, this should not be allowed. This should not be possible. So integrity, honesty, authorship and contribution, you should mention the contribution by each author. That is there in IGO, KGO, everywhere, what all you have contributed. Conflicts of interest, again, these are all repetitions in ethical research guidelines. Data transparency, avoidance of responsible peer interaction, handling misconduct. So in relevant to ophthalmology, the conception and design contribution, drafting and reviewing, final approval and accountability. These are the recommendations. Some of the reference documents are here. So in essence, COP's ethics framework for authors in medical publishing emphasizes honesty, transparency, originality, accountability, respect for participant welfare, and scientific reliability. So this is most of the American Journal of Ophthalmology, they endorses LCVS. There is another group called LCVS Publishing Ethics Policy, which is followed by American Journal of Ophthalmology, and many use ICMJE criteria, British Journal of Ophthalmology, ICMG and COP criteria, annals of. So all these are so. ICMGE recommendations, there is a 2025 update, and the COP already I have discussed. So this is International Committee for Medical Journal Editors Core Ethical Principle for Ophthalmology Authors 2025. More or less similar. There is a overlap, authorship, accountability. Use of AI has been given very clearly in the new ICMJ guidelines. So conflicts of interest, ethical conduct, data transparency, prevention of misconduct, same, more or less same. So this is a summary of ICMJE. Elsevier publishing ethics are also overlapping with many of these. American Journal of Ophthalmology uses Elsevier publishing ethics. It is, I am not repeating, it's more or less same. There's fine small differences, that's all. Especially when you use animal objects and interventional things. Uh, so, what are the ethical considerations in research? This uh, slide gives the summary. Avoid plagiarism, prevent plagiarism, avoid data fabrication and falsification. Authorship integrity should be maintained. Conflict of interest should be disclosed. Informed consent and participants' privacy is extremely important. And then respect copyright and licensing. Peer review integrity is especially important. I have bad experience with Indian Journal of Ophthalmology, where our study was rejected by the editor, and later similar study was published by them. So these are all background stories. Plagiarism check, use of so this is there is a method for plagiarism check. Reproducibility of research should be there. So these are all ethical things. So I have messed up the topic very well, but I have given a few highlights, whatever I could understand from all these things. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mahesh, for your insightful conclusion. But I have two questions for you. This talk was largely dealing with ethics. These two questions are on the legal aspects of publication.
First thing is, I said there is, suppose you publish by, unethical way, there won't be any criminal or civil or consumer cases. That is the problem. But they can approach against you in medical council or somewhere. There again, professional penalization can be done.
Okay. So
Like professor post is taken off or something like that. Professional penalty. But there won't be any criminal or civil cases. That is what I understand in my limited experience.
As far as I know, there are no sections in
Exactly.
Nyaya Samhita regarding this. But I don't know that's one thing I want.
It is not a statute passed by the parliament.
Yes. So. Second thing I wanted to clarify this regarding copyright. We are getting so many, in KJO itself, we are getting so many submissions with everything else clear, but the images are not sourced and copyright not cited clearly where the source is from. So exactly what is the copyright issue with images? Is there any pertaining to images? Is it enough to just cite, or is it the journal which decides what to do, or is there a common?
Actually, you should not use copyrighted image. That is the responsibility. That is the ethical responsibility of the person submitting the articles. There may be ways to find whether it is copyrighted. I don't know. In music,
it's very difficult to find whether.
Sir, can you find out copyrighted image, Thomas sir? We don't know.
Usually, we insist that the source should be cited.
Absolutely, absolutely. It is not correct to use copyrighted image. Just like copyrighted music, no? Okay. You use a music in YouTube, it will get automatically cut off. They have a method.
Yeah, we don't have that method.
We don't have a method. It is a responsibility, ethical responsibility of the author. Okay. Absolutely.
Even in review articles also they submit images. We cannot really check, like they don't have references also.
Review article, no, sir. Review article. I am quoting one big study of that. We can acknowledge that, no?
It's about the images, because sometimes they are so basic and so what do you call it? Schematic diagrams even. They have copyright issues.
May I add a few more sentences regarding that copyright violation? See, now journals are more stick on to whether any part of the paper going to publish is accepted. I mean, table or image, histopathology, HND staining image, whether it is accepted as such from any other journal, we have to get the permission from the editor of the journal concerned. Otherwise, later any issues happen, the paper will be retracted. Retracted in the sense, it won't disappear from the site. It will be there with a label like retracted paper. Then reason for the retraction also mentioned like that. So as you explained previously, there is no imprisonment regarding this guilty, but that will be there in the internet. It won't disappear
Throughout, yeah.
throughout. So it is a professional, what you'll say, black mark.
Black mark.
That's all.
Thank you so much for clearing the